Alabama and Georgia play in a few hours from now. We're going to have a big breakdown of this both on the Fade with me and Todd Furman in a couple of hours. And in about 45 minutes, I'll be breaking down this game on Fox Bet Live with Cousin Sal and with Alex Curry. So that is coming your way. Let me tell you this right now. I am on Georgia, -2.5. I'm also on the under in this game. And if you want a flyer on a prop bet, how about Stetson Bennett to score the first touchdown, 33-1. Seems like pretty good value there. 33-1 on Stetson Bennett to score the very first touchdown. And why do I think Georgia's going to win? Okay, let me lay out my theory. I'm a big believer in look at the totality of a season and assess a team based on all those performances. And if you look at the Georgia Bulldogs, they've now played 14 games. 13 of those games have been very consistent. Dominant defense, very opportunistic offense, the best team on the field by a substantial margin in 13 of the 14 games. Really, Georgia has fallen apart in one game, and even in that one game, it was really the second quarter where Georgia's defense came undone. Georgia allowed more points in the second quarter of this game than they allowed in any other, second quarter of the Alabama game in the SEC championship, than they allowed in any other entire game. What happened? Remember, Georgia was up 10-0, and the under was looking like a good bet. A lot of people have already forgotten this. And then Jamison Williams got hit by Bryce Young on a crossing route. I believe it was a third down play, if I'm not mistaken. Basically ran untouched to the end zone, made it 10-7, and from there, the Alabama offensive onslaught was on fire. It didn't surprise me that Alabama won the SEC championship game. It surprised me that they won the way that they did in such dominant fashion. I believe Georgia is going to go back to the drawing board. They're going to play like the team they more likely are representative of, and as a result, I believe that Georgia will beat Alabama. I think the final score in this one's going to be 24-17. Okay? Let me explain also why. I also think this Alabama offensive line is not an elite level offensive line. And the thing that surprised me about Georgia losing, again, if they had lost 21-17, 24-20, had been a close game, defensive struggle, I would have said, okay, I can see that. I didn't think they were going to give up 41. I didn't think they were going to get whipped like they did. So, what surprised me the most was that Alabama's offensive line held up against Georgia's defensive line and gave Bryce Young all the time to throw that they did. I don't think that he will have as much time in this game. I also think the loss of Mechie is going to be significant because then there's not really a Robin to Jamison Williams Batman. Okay, so I think that can become a big part of what transpires in this game. Ultimately, I just think the Georgia defensive front is going to have a lot of success against the Alabama offensive line. Now, Alabama, fortunate, they only won by 6 over LSU. They only beat Arkansas by 7. They lost to Texas A&M, a fairly mediocre, let's be honest, Texas A&M team. They were very fortunate to win in overtime against Auburn, incredibly fortunate. And if you look at Alabama's performance over the course of the season, they were not very good, by and large, all year long. They barely beat the Florida Gators as well. In fact, Alabama won 4 SEC football games by 7 or fewer points, and they also lost 1. It's the worst performance for Alabama in years. Now, they played really well against Ole Miss, and they played really well against Georgia. I believe Georgia vanquishes all of the demons that have been out there since Herschel Walker and crew won back in 1980. I know I'm probably driving Georgia fans crazy and certainly Atlanta area baseball fans crazy because you got the Braves championship already. I think the Dogs are going to be barking in Indianapolis tonight, and Georgia covers the 2.5, gets the win. Kirby Smart gets a victory.